What's up, guys? It's your boy JD, and this is The Itch, and we're back with another review for The Order 1886, PlayStation 4 exclusive. Well, I'm sure you probably already know there's a ton of crap that is, well, going around about this game, you know, good or bad, whatever you take of it. I'm just gonna get started. Everyone knows the controversy, so let's just go into it. The Order 1886 takes place in London, the year 1886, imagine, and it's about the Order, imagine, where pretty much this group of people who have founded this secret substance called Blackwater are able to live longer and to fight against these monsters. They're called half-breeds, these bestial, like, monsters and stuff like that, who are pretty much like bad guys and stuff from your perspective and everything like that. The Order is tasked with pretty much wiping them out, and they actually stand a pretty good chance in the the Industrial Age. Okay, so they're equipped with all these like crazy cool weapons and stuff like that, some really inventive weapons, and pretty much you play as Sir Galahad. That's his title, rank, if you can believe it, and him and his compatriots pretty much explore the conflict of the story, and you kind of just figure out, oh, hey, there's a plot of, you know, betrayal going on. Oh, there's something that Sir Galahad doesn't know. Well, typical, you know, why wouldn't he? So, anyway, there's not really too much about the story. I don't really want to get too much into it, because it's kind of, at the end of the day, it's kind of bland. It started off really great, and then just kind of devolved into mush, and I'll get to that. First thing I have to say about the game is it is cinematically amazing. I can't believe, you know, how the game looks sometimes. It's, you know, it's one of those games that you expect to get tired of looking at it, and then something else happens. Okay, it's definitely from a technical standpoint, very well done, and the developers, I believe it's Ready at Dawn, if I remember correctly, should be proud of themselves for what they did. Yeah, Ready at Dawn and Santa Monica Studios. So, you know, good on you guys. Game looks great. Now, one thing that I have to say is that the game pretty much plays out as a third-person shooter. So if you think Gears of War, if you think, well, I mean, Resident Evil is technically a third-person shooter at the end of the day. If you think about, you know, games like that where it's like over-the-shoulder kind of thing, that's what you're getting into. A little bit more fast-paced than Gears of War, I would say. Having played all the Gears of Wars, this game definitely runs a little bit faster than me. I will have to say, though, the first thing that really just put me off about the game is the first mission is so quick time heavy that when you're in the prison, the gulag or whatever, it's not really a gulag, I'm just saying that. It's very quick time heavy. You're pressing a quick time to like breathe, it feels like. And the game is just holding your hand the whole time with all these tutorials that they're throwing at you. They're like, oh, well, do this, press this to do that. And the thing is it's great to have that level of like, hey, this is how we're going to express it, you know, here's how we want people to get into it. Here's the downside to it, though. You're taking away a player's ability to play the game. And in some instances, the flow of the game is being affected if you're introducing all these different things. Like, sometimes, you know, I have to mash X to do something. Okay, cool. But sometimes they don't want me to mash X. They want me to hold triangle. And then other times they want me to hit square. Sometimes they want me to hit circle. And that, in my opinion, the consistency affects the overall game. Okay, but let me just keep going. The tone of the game is reflected, I would say, in its surroundings. It's very bleak, very gritty and stuff like that, and it really works. Like, I just hope it doesn't fall into the path. Like, I'm assuming there's going to be a sequel. I'm hoping it doesn't fall into the path of what's that game called? Of Gears of War, where everything is just literally very few color palettes. I want to see some, you know, variety here. Sound-wise, it's amazing. There's bullets whizzing past you. Your character, like, will get up against the wall and stuff like that when being shot at and stuff, so it really feels great. They react and stuff like that. Music fits the environment. I didn't really notice the music until halfway through the game. to be really, really complimentary of the situation. Sometimes, I guess it is more times than I think about it, but I really wasn't paying attention too much. It really didn't go, hey, psh, this music's awesome, you know. So it's cool to kind of to hear it and to be like, oh wow, you know, it's really interesting. I have to respect the game for what it was trying to do, even if it failed very bad at it, which was the single player storytelling. We saw that done with good examples. Wolfenstein. The New Order. Another game with the Order. And takes place in the past. In an alternate dimension. Wow. Stealing ideas. Pretty much, except the only difference is Wolfenstein, from what I've read and seen, I haven't played it all the way through. I've played it, just not all the way through. Wolfenstein just does a better job in that regard. There's more development of the characters and stuff like that. But I will say, you know, in that respect, the shooting feels nice. The firefights are intense. You know, like bullets whizzing past you, like I said, with the sound and everything like that. My only gripe with it is I wish the firefights were more like the last few firefights towards the end of the game. Because Galahad has an ability, it's like a little quick draw ability, which I like. I think it's a cool idea. Because there's nothing like being pressured by like 30 guys and then having the Dragoon, the revolver, and then just blasting people with his special ability. Because he reloads super quick and just annihilates everyone. It's great. It's cool. It's a nice ability. But there's not really an incentive to use it until towards the end of the game when you're literally being flooded with guys and you just need to clear a room quick because maybe you're hurting or something like that. You can whip it out and just shoot everybody up. Then it's cool. I will say the game is very well detailed. It's consistent in the sense that there was a scene where Galahad got shot and, you know, recovered, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He had blood on his hands, okay? A couple scenes later, he still has that blood on his hands, but it's dried. And it's very easy to see. It's very, you can obviously tell it's very well dried and everything like that at that point. And it's kind of cool to see it. It's like, you know, good job for you guys. It may seem like, you know, I'm grasping at like a straw in that regard, but no, you know, consistency in games like that is important. You know, and I will say the narrative of the game is reflective in its gameplay, in which you do regenerate and stuff like that. Your character is made to regenerate because that's in the game. That's how they live as long as they do. You know, so that's pretty cool. And another cool thing that I found was all the characters get shot pretty much at some point, which is great because it shows that they're not like some super soldiers. They're okay with making mistakes. Yeah, they've lived for a long time, but hey, sometimes someone's gonna get one off on you. You know. I will say the stealth scenes in the game felt tacked on. The first time I ever did a stealth scene, I died because I didn't know, again, going back to that quick time thing, I had no idea the ring, I had to wait until the ring was in the circle of the triangle to press it, okay? As far as consistency, yeah, it was always triangle, but that little ring thing was silly, okay? If you don't have an idea on what I'm talking about, think back to Lost Odyssey, if anyone who's ever played that. There's a ring that goes around the enemy, and you have to like hit R2 or right trigger at the right time to get like the extra damage and all that stuff. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. The game felt like it was literally just trying to isolate itself and be only about specific things, but it didn't deliver on those specific things. You know, the stealth unfortunately was not that good. The shooting was great. The voice acting was amazing. I like the voice acting. I love the character animations, the character designs, all that stuff was great. It was nice to see them. They felt alive. But it really, you can't try and immerse me and then take me out with a QuickTime event, which is exactly what happened. A lot of times I felt myself, you know, going, what am I supposed to be doing in this situation? Take the first Lycan battle, for instance. I'm not thinking to do right trigger. I get it. Ready at Dawn created God of War. So not only are there going to be QuickTime events, but hey, right stick is supposed to be your dodge in the QuickTime. In specific QuickTimes. Not all of them, just in that one. You know, when you fight the Lycans. And I have to say, like, it took me getting hit like 4 times until I paid attention to it. And I'm just like, am I the only one who did that this happened to? I'm thinking to do the movement, you know, the left analog stick to be my movement, not the right analog stick to be my evasion. Evasion's not introduced anywhere except for there. So I don't know. Maybe it's disconnect with me, but I felt like it was inconsistent. and sometimes it'll result in death. When you're not doing exactly what they're asking you to do, you will die. Okay, I didn't die 1,000 times to QuickTime events, but I died more than I'd like to them. Okay, I will say though, from what the Order did right, we should take that and try to refine that. Okay, what I mean by that is the firefights are great. I actually like the writing, dialogue wise and everything was great. Some parts a little cliche, but not too bad. Like drastic times call for drastic measures. Just say desperate, dude. Like, come on, we already know where you're going at. But you know, there was that, and then obviously, like I said, the shooting, the voice acting, the cutscenes were great. I liked taking well, I mean, I was taking a break for the whole game because you never know when you're playing. But when you do take that break and you see all a majority of the cutscenes, it felt great. Just looking at everything, being like, oh wow, you know, Galahad or whatever. Which kind of brings me to them, the knights themselves. Galahad's boring. I have to admit, Galahad's just a stoic dude. It's boring. Marquis is probably the most interesting character there, because he has a personality to him. He's the youngest knight, technically. And what I mean by that is he's the youngest to be inducted into the Order. So he's more human, you know. Then there's Igraine, Izzy Igraine or whatever, who is like more of like a haha, you know, I'm better than you, whatever. Even though she, I would say, has feelings for Galahad. And then there's Sir Percival, who his actual name escapes me, because these names are titles, you know. Sir Percival is a title, so is Galahad, but Percival is kind of like Galahad, but a little less stoic-y and more of like, hey, let's break the rules. And Alistair was an interesting character as well, just being different from Galahad. It's a step up. Any one of the characters is a step up from Galahad. You weren't interested in Galahad, you were interested with his interactions with the other cast. Okay, and that's unfortunate, because you want to have that player character connection, which was non-existent. But, you know, a lot of the gripes that I hear about the game are like, oh, there's no multiplayer, the game's not long enough. You know, I have to say, you know, I don't think anyone lied to you when they told you, you know, about the game. Like, oh, it's, you know, 5.5 hours. When we saw the 6 hours. When we saw the Let's Play of the entire game and it ended at like 5.5 hours, people were flipping out. But you don't really understand that happens with a lot of games. Okay, very rarely, more in this day and age, but very rarely back then, would you be able to play a game that you bought for $50 for more than like 6 hours in a sitting. You know, some games you could beat real easily. I'm not trying to stand up for the game, but I'm just saying, hey, before we start flipping out, let's take a look at the fact that some games still are worth $60 that we have spent money on and liked the games. Okay, because there's no accounting for taste. No matter what, even if a game is 4 hours long, it doesn't matter, because if you like that genre or those kinds of games, you're going to play the game. It doesn't matter. And apparently, from what it sounds like, the game is still sold well regardless of all this. So, I mean, good for them, because I want to see a sequel, but I want to see a sequel done right. And the reason why I want to see a sequel is because nothing was resolved, story-wise or otherwise. Nothing! Nothing got solved at all, okay? There were so many holy crap. That game just took a crap on itself for the ending. Okay, I really can't say much more about it. Just, if you're going to play the game, I would recommend it if it's $20 okay? Nothing more. Because if you're trying to get a game that you think is going to just change the way you think about gaming, it's not here. A game with a crazy story that you're going to want to get into, it's not here either, okay? And normally there's no, if it's about a game's length, normally I don't even care about it. Because again, there's no accounting for taste. But because it's the first in a franchise, if I'm trying to get someone to play a game, I have to tell them, hey, this game's only 6 hours. Okay, so that's just something to consider, okay? The game visually looks great. Some of the gameplay elements are great. The bad thing about it is QuickTime events, the hand-holding, the story is bad. The length, unfortunately, I have to talk about, okay, as being bad. I would only recommend it $20 or less. Okay, or if you're a diehard fan about it. Hopefully they make a sequel, and the only two things they would need to change are less QuickTime events and put in multiplayer to get people to stop complaining about the length. Okay, fine, make the game the same length. Use the same production value, who cares? just add multiplayer. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, found this video helpful, be sure to give a like, comment about it if you prefer this format of reviews. It's only temporary, unless you guys want it to be longer. And be sure to subscribe and keep it here, keep it locked with us as we produce more and more video game reviews. Alright?